Help?
Hey guys, TheTechOtaku here. Eagle Eye viewers would recognize this laptop, and this is by far the greatest potato machine that's ever lived. Heck, even better than cheap brand new laptops because it's upgradable compared to modern e-waste. If you want to know the history about me owning this laptop, go on to my revisit video on the card on top right. But after giving that laptop to one of my classmates in need during my college days, I apparently got another one, except the parts are missing. No RAM, no boot drive, no hard drive caddy, and even missing bottom cover. So that's what I'm gonna do to this machine. Get the parts for it and make a profit out of it. But it was left neglected since I last touched it. Until now. The specs on this laptop is exactly the same as my previous A43SD laptop, which is the Intel Pentium B960 dual-core CPU without hyper-threading clock at 2.2 GHz, NVIDIA GeForce 610M discrete GPU with 2GB of VRAM, and that's about it. I already cleaned the machine on the outside off camera because it was awfully filthy when I first got it. Same story applies with the keyboard, but it was broken. Display has a speck of dust inside the panel and has some pressure marks on it. I probably can't remember because I was in here before. Ribbon cables below the keyboard had the blue tab ripped off and not making good connections. But this is the most jank solution I have to do for now. After I updated the BIOS on this laptop and left it neglected for a while, it somehow got corrupted, so I have CH341A on hand since that happened. Very convenient tool, but I have to grab another machine to do so. After a countless googling for the BIOS file for Asus A43SD laptop and managed to find one, I clipped the BIOS chip onto its board, plug it in, erase the chip, and reprogram it. And that machine is back to life. But it was on the old version of the BIOS, so while I'm at it, I also updated the BIOS to the latest one that Asus offered for it, while it had no battery installed. This is a dumb idea, I swear. Anyway, with BIOS corruption situation sorted, it's time to put on some missing parts. I found a drive caddy on Shopee for 15 ringgit, so I placed an order for that. Along that, I ordered a pad of 4GB sticks of DDR3 1333, giving it a total of 8GB of RAM. Why DDR3 1333? That's because it's more appropriate for Sandy Bridge era machines. Prior to that, I also ordered a pair of 4GB sticks of DDR3 as well, but it's DDR3 1600 since I want to upgrade my media PC to 8GB of RAM too. Then mishaps happened. If you haven't seen the video on my extras channel, let me recap the story on how it happened. The seller did ship my pair of 4GB DDR3 1600, but they didn't ship the other pair of DDR3, but it's 1333. When I noticed that the other two sticks are missing in my order, I was like,
Oh, Susie!
I kid you not. This is what it arrived. I tried to message the seller about it, but it failed to send for some reason. Most likely, the seller blocked me after placing an order, or they just disabled the chat. I'm not sure what's up with that. So, I decided to file for a refund over a missing order, and thank goodness I did get a refund, so yay. After that, I ordered the pair of 4GB DDR3 1333 from different seller and it arrived without the bag. Weird, but if it works, right? After 2 out of 5 parts arrive, time to install it. First things first, the RAM. All you gotta do is to align the notch and put it in at an angle. It goes in only one way and you have to make sure the RAM is fully seated. Once you're happy with that, push it in, and that's how you install a sodium RAM. Repeat this step with the other slot. Once that's installed, I had to grab a boot drive. I already put my old Hitachi drive that is in urge of dying onto the caddy for now, just for testing purposes since it has Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC installed on it. The drive and the caddy is in. That leads me to 6 missing screws. I already found 4 screws to secure the drive caddy, and the bottom cover is gonna be a problem for another day. After the caddy is in, that leads me to 3 missing parts: the SSD, keyboard, and the bottom cover. That's 3 things to get this done, but let's try to see if the machine poses. Once I plug the machine in, I turn it on and immediately gets into the pose. I went to the BIOS and verified that 8GB of RAM is detected, which is a good sign. I did a memory test with Memtest 86, and after being away for some errands like doing laundry stuff, it completed without any errors. Good start for a working Asus A43SD laptop. With the RAM and drive caddy sorted out on this laptop, Time to wait for one more day for the keyboard and bottom cover to arrive. And just in time before Shawwal, the two parts arrive. Obviously, I opened the box upside down because there's my address on the top. Of course, my Xperia Nuggets autofocus is obviously derp during the unboxing, but I have to say, it was packed pretty well, and both seems to arrive in great shape. Since they're used parts, I had to give them a clean off camera, and the bottom cover is ready to be slotted in, and it's a complete laptop. Yay! Wait, not quite, since I gotta install the keyboard first. It was kinda difficult to get it connected, but I managed to get it in. Once the keyboard is plugged in, I give it a test. Well, for the used keyboard, the W key had a snappy sound compared to other keys. Otherwise, the keyboard kinda works, and now the laptop is almost complete. There is one more component needed in order to have an operating system on it. The SSD. So I had to wait for it. Okay, the last part for the Asus A43SD laptop is gonna be a brand new second-hand, or should I say a used SSD. Oh, it's wrapped in the anti-static bag. That's pretty neat. And there we go. The gray, stony, and soulless looking thing, okay, that was a joke, is a Kingston A400 120GB SSD. I do swap out my 8-dated SU650 drive to this years ago when I had to let go of my most jank Acer touchscreen laptop to one of my college friends in need. You didn't know about that years ago cause I scrapped that video. This on the other hand is the used SSD. And disclaimer, I don't suggest you to go out and buy a used SSD and you have no idea how much life that these have left, which could eventually fail as time comes, so just get a brand new SSD or proceed at your own risk. Wait, did I forget to mention? I bought the used SSD for around 33 ringgit and 30 cents. I went ahead and installed it like usual. And then I pop the bottom cover back in and then boot the machine up. And then I grabbed a shiny new 32GB USB flash drive that I bought recently that contains, wanna take a guess? Yup, Ventor USB. It's one of the utilities to create bootable USB that allows you to boot ISOs you have without the need of formatting the drive over and over again. How come have I not heard of this earlier? And then I went ahead and booted the Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC ISO. I know, a lot of you will be screaming,
Windows 10 is going to be dead in October this year.
Yeah, I know, but Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC SKU has a longer support life cycle than consumer versions of Windows 10, which leads us to 7 years of life left in it. Not all machines can run Windows 11 smoothly, ain't it? So, I get to the installation. After the installation, I went ahead and set up Windows 10 as usual. and we're into the desktop. I then connect to the internet and activate Windows since I already have a test install hardware ID activated earlier. Once I got updates and drivers installed, my Asus A43SD laptop is finally ready to be put on for sale. And now, the Asus A43SD laptop is finally complete. It is now a complete laptop ready to be put on for sale. On to the total cost for parts. The drive caddy for this laptop costed me 15 ringgit. The pair of 4GB DDR3 1333 costed me 22 ringgit and 12 cents. Used keyboard and bottom cover for it costed me 45 ringgit, but with vouchers I redeemed, it bring the price down to 41 ringgit 43 cents. A used Kingston SSD costed me 33 ringgit 30 cents, which is almost hitting 3.33. That was almost a jackpot, I swear. Anyhow, the total cost for these parts are 111 ringgit and 85 cents, which is approximately $24.90. That's under $25 if converted. Okay, however, I did put on a listing in Facebook Marketplace prior to installing SSD and I got 2 buyers, which the first one unfortunately never went to my house for door pickup right after I shared a location. Not a good look, ain't it? Another buyer on the other hand, he wants to negotiate me for 100 ringgit and I rejected it immediately, so yeah. It still got some value to it, but because of the condition, I had to kind of flip it for cheap. But since it runs a version of Windows 10 that has 7 years left of support, people will be gladly take that as a simple computer for word processing. On a bright side, the third buyer is willing to pay me 130 ringgit just because no battery installed, so I don't know how to sell things, so let me know on what to improve. Anyways, that's a wrap up for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video of somewhat random video of me restoring my Asus A43SD laptop with missing parts. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it to your friends and family. Remember to hit the bell icon to get notified so you don't miss out on new videos like this. As said earlier, I have a Ko-fi and Patreon pages which I will provide in the description, so feel free to donate some money to keep the TheTechOtaku channel alive. With that said, see you guys in the next video. Wait, why did the video suddenly black out? I was about to sign off. Oh my god, March. Well, see you guys in the next video. TheTechOtaku signing out.